Before that, I would like to thank Professor Anop, Principal and the Management of Mahaguru Institute of Technology for inviting me and my team for this event. So, wholehearted gratitude. I am expressing my wholehearted gratitude towards this Principal and Management of Mahaguru Institute of Technology. So we will start today's session. So the program is supported by Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Center under Kerala Startup Mission. And also today we have one more entity coming in. We have not mentioned the entity here because yesterday only we got the permission to add that entity. So that's Microsoft. So Microsoft has sanctioned this event as one of their STEM workshops under Microsoft Educator program. So Microsoft also has agreed to issue some certificates. So you will be getting a certificate from Microsoft after this event. So the steps to follow to receive that certificates I will explain later. So about today's program mainly concentrate on this topic, robotic process automation. What is basically robotic process automation? So you can see three terms: robot, process, automation. So you are familiar with these three terms. What is meant by a robot? Robot is some hardware piece or some mechanical structure that mimics a human. What is meant by a process? So all are very much familiar with this term, process. All these three terms you are very much familiar: robot, process, and automation. Process is something that we do. For example, if you make a tea, that's a process because we will be turning on the stove or gas, and after that we will be keeping a plate or something like that, or we will be placing a vessel. We will be pouring some water. That's a systematic process, or there is a well-defined process behind making tea. So that's meant by process. What is meant by automation? Automation also is similar thing. If we without human intervention, if we can do one process, then that can be considered as an automation. So all these three things are combined in this term, robotic process automation. So most of you would have thought that this program will be something related to robots. So actually, this is something related to robots, but the robots are present in software or in your operating system or in the cloud. So robots in the software or in the cloud is considered as this robotic process automation. There is nothing to do with the hardware. So already, as my friend already mentioned, so what are the objectives of today's program? So we'll be getting a small brief idea about this robotic process automation. So I'll be telling things little fast because we need to wind up the event in 1 or 1.5 hours. So there will be a hands-on session. In this hands-on session, we'll be demonstrating how you can access this community version of robotic process automation tools, and also how to do basic programs or how to do basic codings or how to create a basic robot. All these things we will be discussing today. So I'll be moving a little faster through my introduction session. So after that, after the event, you can use your laptops or computers to download this community version and to try with these robots, because this is just an opening. Only we'll be providing the basic details. From these basic details, you need to develop yourselves. So by August last, most of the colleges will be rolling out this program, robotic process automation or diploma in robotic process automation. Around 60 plus colleges have signed MOU with the Advanced Skill Development Center to initiate this course in their campuses. So most of your campuses will be having this program by the end of August. By the end of August 2020. So today's objective is to understand about robotic process automation. So we'll be giving a basic idea about this term, robotic process automation, and what will be the future of robotic process automation. So as my colleague mentioned, most of the institutions, companies will be having some repetitive tasks. Just like, for example, if we are taking an institute, there is a repetitive task, just like students' attendance will be monitored, and these attendance need to be maintained in an Excel file or an LMS system. Every end of the month, they need to submit this attendance. Every end of the semester, they need to submit this attendance and your internals to the KTU or the concerning authority. So this is a repetitive process, and all these things are done in computers. So robotic process automation aims at reducing this repetitive processes. Because just consider an event which occurs every day in your life. For example, there is a person who is working in an agency. He need to monitor the entire staff. Just imagine the company is so big, around 15 to 20,000 people are working there, and every day some of the insurance need to be renewed. Means their medical insurance or some other life insurance need to be renewed under the company. So every 365 days there will be a person need to check the due date of these insurances, and he need to renew it manually. So this is a process that is done online, or process done in computers. So this can be automated with the help, not automated. This can be done with the help of a robot. So that robot is basically the base. That robot is basically the what we say, the basic content of this robotic process automation. So designing a robot in software, that is what we meant by robotic process automation. So most of the companies that has a lot of repetitive works, they are migrating to this automation process. If you check the website of robotic process automation by UiPath or any other leading companies providing robotic process automation, you can see a lot of big companies, just like many Microsoft, likewise Oracle, lot of big companies you can see there. So they are migrating to this RPA path. So when we consider the opportunities, it's enormous. And also you would have heard about Gartner study. So Gartner study is something that make a study of future technology skills. So if you refer the issue, if you refer the Gartner study released recently, you can see that one of the most required talent or most required resource is robotic process automation. So you can refer to the Gartner study in the by googling it, and also what are the implementation benefits. So as you know, as I gave a small idea of this robotic process automation, from that itself, the important benefit will be time. The time taken for running a job will be very less. If a human does a job, just like checking the internet, checking the due date, and after that, based on the due date, he will be selecting some employees, and these employees' details will be updated in some softwares. This may take 5 to 10 minutes for a single human being. But if you are converting it to a, or if you are allotting a robot this work, the robot can do it in 30 or 40 seconds, even less. And one of the more advantageous thing is that robots will be highly accurate. They will be 100% accurate. But as far as humans are concerned, the accuracy level may vary based on the humans. The accuracy level may vary. So from person to person, this accuracy varies. But in the case of robot, the accuracy will be constant, and also the time taken by the robot will be very less. And one more important thing is that humans get bored after doing these repetitive works. There is no issue with these robots that they will not get bored. Whatever job they are assigned, they will be doing it in the specified time frame. And finally, we'll be looking onto the different types of robots that we can have in this robotic process automation. So we will discuss just two kinds of robots in this robotic process automation. And also, after that, we will be looking onto some of the use cases that we currently tell in the case of robotic process automation. We'll be seeing the use case of a movie search, and also the use case of a email automation. So once we reach the hands-on part or the use case part, you will be more clear about what are the different components, what are the different tools, what are the opportunities of this RPA, what are the benefits of this RPA. All these things you will be getting a clear idea once you reach on the hands-on session. So before moving on to the hands-on session and components, I would like to introduce some of the companies, the leading players in this robotic process automation. So all these leading companies, you can Google it in the search bar. And once you navigate to these companies, you will see a lot of opportunities in terms of jobs and upcoming opportunities in this. Every site will be mentioning about these opportunities. So the leading players, three of the leading players are UiPath, Blue Prism, and Automation Anywhere. So most of you would have heard about these terms: UiPath, Blue Prism, and Automation Anywhere. So here today's program is supported by UiPath because UiPath have made an alliance with the Kerala government, and through advanced skill development centers, this UiPath have set up a UiPath Academy, and through this academy, students are being trained. So by the end of 2020, we will be having a bunch of students who is well trained in this robotic process automation. And I think with that bunch of students, current industry will be able to meet the future needs. So the next one is Blue Prism. The issue with the Blue Prism is that we do not have a community version or a trial version. So if we go to the Blue Prism and automation anywhere, we need to request the company for a trial version. But in the case of UiPath, you can directly download a trial version from its site by simply registering with your details and your institution details. So once you get the community version or the trial version, you can try from your house itself, and you can go or you can study with a hands-on experience. But in the case of Blue Prism and Automation Anywhere, you may not be getting a trial version. If you are eligible to become eligible for this trial version, you need to be a representative of some company or something like that, and you need to directly contact the authorities of this Blue Prism, and then only you will be getting the trial version to have a hands-on experience. That's the only issue with this Blue Prism and Automation Anywhere. Basically, all the three companies have a unique factor, that is the robots or robotic process automation. All are similar, and the biggest advantage is that any student from any discipline can study this robotic process automation because there is no coding involved in this thing. So in your class time, not in class time, in your early childhood days, you would have studied about a jigsaw puzzle like thing. So this is somewhat similar to a jigsaw puzzle. You can drag and drop some of the blocks from a activity tab, and based on the activity tab, based on the blocks that you have dragged into the work window, the robot will be performing some tasks. So only drag and drop is there. So this is a simple thing to study, but you need to be sound about some of the simple basic things like variables, data types, and all these things. Because the main thing happens here is the design, the what we say initiation of variables and all those things. So it is very simple, just a drag and drop like option. Using this drag and drop facility, you will be able to create a robot, and the robot will be working as per your wish, or whatever jobs you are giving to this robot, the robot will be working as per the blocks that you have dragged into the workspace. So these are the main tools that are now available in our market. Is there any issue with my voice? Please interrupt me. Can I proceed further? Is my audio clear? So if you put it in the chat window, I will proceed further. So can I proceed? You can mention in the chat window, so I will be getting an idea about what you are, whether my words are receiving or not. So all of you can put some yes or no in the chat window, so that I will have more clarity on what all things I am telling. So okay, so I can see a lot of yes now. So I will continue with my session. So now we will move on to the components. So what are the main components present in a studio or in a UiPath component? So the main components include recording, scrapping, user events, variables. So all these components I will be mentioning once I go to the UiPath studio. So that's then only you will be getting a more idea about these things. So now we will move on to the hands-on session. Site of UiPath. So now you will be seeing the website of UiPath. So here you can see a try UiPath for free option here. So the first step in our robotic process automation journey is to download a UiPath Studio, the place where we will be doing all the creation of robots, testing the robots, and all these things will be done inside a UiPath Studio. So there is one more version known as UiPath Studio X. So UiPath Studio X is really meant for those people from business. Actually, it's a layman software. Just like there is some more simpler version. We need to tell the software that we have this type of arrangements, or we need a robot like this. UiPath Studio X will be designing a robot for you. But as far as engineering graduates or we students are considered, we need to go for UiPath Studio. So once you click on the UiPath for free, you will be redirected to a window where you can register your details. So you will be asked about your institute sometimes, or you can directly log in using your Google credentials. So once you get into the UiPath community version, you will be redirected to a place where you can download the UiPath Studio. So downloading is simple. You need to register to the UiPath website, and you can directly download the UiPath Community Edition from the UiPath login. And for institutes who are having UiPath Academy, there is an academic aligned version of this UiPath Studio. So, if possible, all students are requested to contact your college authorities and check whether your college is having this UiPath Academy. And if UiPath Academy is there, you will be eligible to use the academic version. So academic version will be having some more add-ons just like orchestra runs, something like that. Whenever we consider a UiPath Studio or whenever we consider robotic process automation by UiPath, we talk about mainly three components. The first one is the UiPath Studio, which I have mentioned right now. The second one is the robots, and the third one is the orchestrator. So using this studio, we'll be creating a robot. And right now we are living in the world of cloud. I think everyone understands what is meant by cloud. It's something remote. That is, cloud computing will be having some programs running in the cloud. We can control it from anywhere in the world. Just like that, once you make a robot, you can control it from any part of the world with the help of an orchestrator. So very basically, if we talk very basic, a UiPath robotic process automation system consists of three parts. One is the UiPath Studio. That's what I mentioned. How I mentioned how to download, how to activate all these things I have mentioned. The second one is the robot. So using the UiPath Studio, we will be creating robots. And the third one is the orchestrator. Using orchestrator, we can control our robots from any part of the world. So just keep in mind all these three components: the studio, the robots, and the orchestrator. So the first step is to download the UiPath Studio. So right now I am not showing how to download. Once you get into this site, you will be able to download the community edition. And once you get the community edition, then it will be the next step is to install the community edition. So once you download a piece of software, it will be in .exe format. Most of you will be familiar with that format. So when you double click on the .exe format, the UiPath Studio will automatically get installed. There is no complication. It's not a complicated process. It's as simple as installing a small VLC media player or something like that. You can directly download this .exe file from the UiPath site. And after that, once you install, in the desktop, you will be receiving an app like this, UiPath Studio app like this. And in my window, you can see only UiPath Studio. But once you install, you will be getting more options like a UiPath Assistant, UiPath Robot, something like that. But in my case, it's not showing because it's an old version. I downloaded it 6 months before. So the new version will be having all the robots and orchestrator clubbed into a single piece of .exe file. So you'll be getting everything in a single bundle. So right now we can, for a beginner, you need to start with this UiPath Studio app. So I will run my UiPath Studio app. So we will be moving on to the hands-on training. So right now you just try to note down what are the steps I am telling. Do not try to check it now because so right now we have mentioned about the main three components of UiPath. The first component is UiPath Studio. The second component is the robot, and the third component is the orchestrator. So the first step that we did is we downloaded UiPath Community Edition from the UiPath website, and after that we installed it. So we are having an interface like this. So once you complete the installation and you open the UiPath Studio, you will be getting an interface like this. So here, so let me give a familiarization of this interface. This is the opening screen of your UiPath Studio. On the right side, you will be having some options to create new project, to connect an orchestrated project, to run the robot background, something like that. On the left panel, you will be having some open project option, and some of the recent projects will be mentioned. When you open for the first time, this recent project side will be blank. And on the utmost left side, you will be having some settings and all those things. So in order to try, these things will be there. So right now we'll be starting with a new project. Let's say we are creating a process. So I am starting a new process, and I am naming it as an IMDb search. So let me explain the first use case. Our first use case is to search the rating of a movie in IMDb. So I think everyone will be familiar with this IMDb site. The entire movies will be listed there, and there will be some what we say. There will be some ratings. There will be some critics ratings there. So all these things will be present in this IMDb site. So our first use case is to design a robot to automatically search for a movie rating. So let me give some name for this thing. So already IMDb is existing there. So I am giving the name as IMDb1. So this location is the place where your project will be created. By default, it will be in your documents path. So if you need to change the path, you can change it here, or else you can just click on the create button. So now the robot is being created. So once the robot creation process is completed, you will be redirected to a screen where we can customize our robot. So here you can see it's creating the workspaces, it is restoring the dependencies, all those things doing in the forefront. So within 1 or 2 minutes, based on the speed of your process, you will be redirected to a UiPath Studio here. So this is the main interface of your UiPath Studio. So you can see one UiPath Studio here, community, mentioning it as community edition. So this is the main workflow part, but yet the workflow editing path is not yet started. And here you can see on the top side, you can see a ribbon of icons. Inside that, you can see a lot of options, just like creating new sequences, new flowcharts, state machine, like that. In order to run the file, we'll be having a apply button. And in order to install more dependencies, we'll be having manage package screen. There is an option to record the things that we do in our desktop or in our website, and based on the things that we are doing, or based on the things we do, the robot can have a simple version, that is the UiPath Studio will be recording all our activities, and based on that activities a robot will be created. That's the basic idea behind this recording. There is a screen scraping to scrap the data. These two options are to scrap the data, and there are some user even time, just like the frequent activities that we will be using, and UI Explorer, where we will be fine tuning our robot. So these are some of the icons that you usually see in most of your applications in Microsoft Word, and everywhere you will be having a ribbon of activities on the upper side, or you will be creating a band of activities. So that's all about this ribbon of activities. So right now we are moving on to our project. So in the project part, so in this tab you can see three options: project, activities, and snippets. So our project can be located here. So inside the project you can see one main SAML file. So double clicking on the main SAML file, you will be getting a workflow part. So this is a place where we will edit our workflow. So already we have mentioned a ribbon of icons on the top. On the left side, you will be having 2 or 3 panels. The first panel is the project panel, from where we can find our workflow, our main project. So once we click on the main.saml, we'll be getting a workflow part. So in this workflow part, we need to customize our robot. Right now, the robot do not have any activity here. So here it is mentioned as drop activity here. So we need to find out the activities that the robot can perform. So I am moving on to the activities panel. So here you have a lot of activities which can be used to configure your robot. So before moving on to that, I would like to have the use case first. So in the use case, What we do while searching is that we will be searching for IMDb. So usually in your Google, you will be getting an IMDb results. Clicking on the IMDb result, you will be redirected to the IMDb site. So inside the IMDb site, we will be searching for a movie. So here I am searching for Joker movie. So once you write the name of the movie, you will be getting some suggestions based on what you have typed. So clicking on the suggestion, you will be redirected to the movie page. So in the movie page, you can see one rating. So this is the basic use case. So we have searched for IMDb, and in the second phase, we opened the IMDb's site. On the third step, we searched for a movie. On the fourth step, we clicked on a suggestion. As a fifth step, we got the rating. So these 5 steps are included in having a basic search. 1 minute. So that's a basic step, basic number of, or it's a basic process that we will be doing. So for that, what we did is to open, the first step what we did is search for IMDb in a browser. So we need to open a browser. So in UiPath, our first option will be to open a browser. So here, in order to drop an activity, we need to conceal it inside a sequence or a flowchart. We need to do in a step-by-step process. So in my case, for simplicity, I will be using sequences. But for a professional or for an industrial person, if the workflow is too big, because if the workflow branches to a lot of options, then he or she will be going for a flowchart. So all of you will be familiar with flowchart. So just like a flowchart, we can have the activities here. So for simplicity and as the task is very small, I am only going for the sequence activity here. So if your work is very large, you can go for flowchart. Inside the flowchart, you can mention sequences. So it is as simple as just like you when you design an electronic component or when you design something, you will be having a flowchart or algorithm. The concept is same here. We will be having something similar to the algorithm or flowchart that you have drawn. So here I am going for a sequence. So in the activity side, you can see a lot of options. From that options, I am clicking a sequence and dropping it here. I am dragging a sequence and dropping it here. Now you can see the initial sequence here. So what is our first activity? Our first activity to open a browser. So I am checking for is there any activity named open browser. So here I can see one activity named open browser. So I am dragging it to here. So once we drag the open browser activity, the open browser activity will be asking us something. Just like what is the site name you need to navigate, or which site I should open, or which browser I should open. All these activities will be asked by the open browser activity. So we need to tell the robot that you need to open this particular site using a particular what we say particular browser, just like a Chrome, Firefox, or Edge, Microsoft Edge, like that. So right now I am going to tell which site to open. So I am copying the IMDb home option here. So you can see I am copying the IMDb site address and I am pasting it here in the open browser type. I am pasting it here. So when we paste a website address, we need to mention it inside a double quotes, else there will be some errors. So here I have mentioned the IMDb site address. So anyway, I am giving the basic or the first web address or the basic web address. So here now you can see an exclamation marks. So once you click outside, the exclamation marks will be gone because right now the open browser tab has got which site to open. It has got the correct address. So now I am changing my browser type because I have some issues with my Chrome. Because after various testing, my Chrome has disabled the what we say UiPath interface extension. So here I am selecting Firefox. By default, the robot will be selecting Internet Explorer. So if you are using Mozilla Firefox or Chrome, you need to install this extension. So in order to install the extension, I will just show how to install. In order to install the extension, you need to go to home option. So on the top left side you can see one home option. Inside the home option you will be having a menu item known as tools. Inside the tools you can install all the website extensions, just like Chrome extension, Edge extension is there, Firefox extension is there. So you can install all the extensions from the tool menu in the home page. So I have already installed all those things. So I will be running using the browser type. So let me check whether the first option is working or not. So here I am going to run my file. So clicking on the run button, if our robot is working correctly, then automatically the IMDb page will be opened in the Firefox window. So let us wait whether, yeah, it's the Firefox window is now open. But the site address is not seen there. Let's wait. So the robot stopped finishing its activity. You can see the IMDb window is opened by the robot. So what is our next step? Our next step is to search for some movies in the search option bar. So here I am going to, so we need to, what is the basic activity that we will be doing? We will be typing some names into the search bar. So here we will be having a type into activity. So let me search for some type activities there. So here you can see a lot of activities coming up. So in the element, UI automation element, you can see one type into activity there. So I am dragging this type into activity. So I dragged it from the recent part because as already I have called it from the UI automation earlier, and that's the reason why it is coming in the recent part. When you do it for the first time, you cannot see it in the recent part. You can see it only inside the element keyboard type into activity. So where we will indicate, or where we will type this thing that we need to indicate. So in order to indicate where we need to write the term, we need to tell the robot where we are going to enter our words. So for the type into activity, you can see one term known as indicate element inside browser. So I am going to tell the robot where I am going to uh, type my uh, movie name. So here by default, the Chrome window is showing the screen recording option, but my Chrome extensions are not working. So this is basically a recording activity. That is where we are recording the place or the point where we are going to the type the movie name. So once you get into the recording activity, wherever you touch, that will be recorded as the point where you are going to write the movie name. So there is a good option for, there is a provision for UI path to temporarily pause this recording. So only if you temporarily pause, then only you will be able to navigate to the different parts or the point where you need to indicate in your web browser. So usually in most of the keyboard layouts, F2 button will be the uh, temporarily pause button. So I am going to press the F2 button. So once I select the or press the F2 button, you will notice a change. I hope you will be able to visible my screen. So I am going to press the F2 button. So the screen is back. On the bottom right corner, you can see a timer running. So I will press again. Check on the bottom right corner of your screen. You can see one timer running. That's the time that we have to navigate the proper page. So only if and only if we navigate to the proper page, then only we will be able to indicate the correct place or the correct point where we can write our movie name. So I am pressing the pause button once again, and I am navigating to my Mozilla Firefox window. And inside the Mozilla Firefox window, I am selecting the search tab. So on the left side, you can see a window there. So when I keep my browser, some parts are getting selected. On the left side, left topmost side, you can see a window, and that window is recording all these things. But right now, only if I click, then only it will be making the record stable. So here I am going to select the search option. So once you click on the search option, then that point will be recorded. So now you can see inside the type input suggestion search box, you can see one search box recorded. So inside the search box, I am going to write what? I am going to write the name Joker. So I wrote the name Joker. So what's the next step? So once you click on the search box and we type Joker, then there will be some suggestions coming up. So our next step is to select the suggestion. So I am moving on to UiPath again. So again, the next activity will be to select the suggestions provided by IMDb. So how we will select a particular suggestion? So inside this, we can see we will simply click on the suggestion. That's how we select. So we need to tell the robot to click on the suggestion. So for a UiPath robot, there is a activity known as click activity. You simply search the click activity, and inside UI automation element, you can see a mouse click option. Simply drag and drop it in the workflow. So once you drag and drop it in the workflow, again you will be asked to indicate where you need to click. So click on the indicate element inside the browser. So you will be redirected to the place where you have searched for Joker. So here we will be clicking on the Joker option in order to navigate to the Joker window or the Joker movie window. So I am selecting the point where we need to click. So here by selecting that plot, it will be recorded into our workflow. So you can now see the search bar is recorded, the term or the suggestion Joker is recorded. So what will be our next step? We will be navigating to the Joker movie part. So the next step is to capture the rating. So how we will capture the rating? So in order to capture the rating, there are different options. One option is to record, that is to scrap the data from the screen. So we have a lot of options like screen scrapping, data scrapping, all those things. So using these scrapping options, we can scrap the data, or either we can go for an activity known as get activity. So using get activity, we can select the not we will be having a get text activity. So using the get text activity, we can scrap the particular details. So by searching for get text, you will be able to see. So by seeing the so inside the once you search for the get text activity, you will be getting lot of options here. You can see one UI automation element. So inside that, you can see the get text activity. Drag it on the workflow, and again you will be asked to indicate it in the browser from where you need to scrap the text. So here I am going to indicate. So here I will be scrapping the rating only. So here you can see when I keep on the 8.5 option, on the top left side you can see the screen is going to get recorded. Clicking on it, it will be recorded. So here I recorded the search option. After that I recorded the suggestion, and after that I recorded the what we say the rating. uh, so so here in the last fetching the or the get text activity, we are fetching some data. So UiPath cannot fetch that data as it is. We need to put that data into a variable. So we need to define a variable where we can put the data. So here I am going to define a variable. The variable can be defined either from the variables tab. Here you can see I clicked on the variables. So the variable can be defined here, or when you select the get text option on the right panel, you will be having an output with a value something here. So inside the value also we can define the variable. So here I am going to define the variable by pressing Control K. It's a shortcut. You can directly go to the variables tab and create a new one. So here I am going to name the variable as movie underscore rating. So here I am creating a variable movie underscore rating to store the data fetched from the IMDb site. Clicking on enter, the variable is now active. So why I stored this thing in a variable, because if we need to fetch this data in a further step, actually our use case is to search for a movie, and after that we'll be getting a rating based on our search, and it will be displayed. So we fetched the data and put it in a variable, and the next step is to display that option. So again, I searched for a option known as message box inside the activity tab. So again, in the system dialog box, you can see one message box. All other message boxes are used for different activities. So based on the activity here, we need a message box from the system. So here I am taking a message box from the system, and I need to display the text fetched from the ratings tab. So here I need to call the variable only. So we have already created a variable naming movie rating in order to fetch the text from the movie site and to display it here. So I am selecting that what we say that variable and clicking outside. The entire robot is now configured. So I will just tell what are the steps that we followed. The first step is that we opened a browser, and after that we captured the search part, and after that we captured or we clicked on the suggestions came out from the search box, and once we click on the suggestion, a new page will be opened. That's the page of the movie will be opened, and from that page we will be fetching the ratings, and this rating will be stored inside a variable, and this variable will be displayed in a message box. So let us try running this robot, whether it's work or not. We will try whether it will be working or not. So I started the robot. The robot now opened the IMDb part, and automatically, and I am expecting the robot to write the Joker part. So it wrote the Joker part, and after that it automatically clicked on the suggestion part, and after that it is expected to fetch the rating from the ratings part. So here you can see a message pop-up came. So it's showing 8.5. So you will be asking, it is better to go to this site and type Joker and get the rating from the site itself. So here, what our objective is to, we'll be simply inputting some terms, just like if you need to search for another movie, we'll be inputting, we are asking the robot to get inputs from a human. So for that, I think you understand the scenario what I have mentioned. So in this particular robot that I have created just now, it can search only for Joker. So what you will do, or what we can do, if we need to make the robot search for any movie. So in order to search any movie, it requires some human inputs, because the movie name need to be inputted to the robot. So for that we need some input part. So just I am trying to create an input dialog box. So here I am searching just for input. So from the system part you can see one input dialog box. So I am uh, dragging and drop into the input dialog box. So here the input dialog box will be asking me for a movie. So in the label also I am just mentioning movie name. So as I mentioned earlier, as far as UiPath robot is considered, every data should be in some variable. So once a person enters a movie name into the dialog box, that movie name needs to be stored inside a variable. So here also we need to create a variable. So again, so as we did earlier, in the output part, that is in the properties part, there is an output option. Inside the option, I am clicking Control K. The hotkey is Control K, and inside and using Control K, I am writing a variable or creating a variable named movie name. Clicking enter, the movie name variable will be created. So now what happened is that here I have created an input dialog box where a human can enter a movie name, and once you enter the movie name, it will be stored into a variable. So for that variable, I created a variable named as movie underscore name. Inside the movie underscore name variable, I am storing the name of the movie that I fetched from the input dialog box. next is our type into activity. So here we have manually entered it as Joker, but the here the case changed because the expected movie name or the searching movie name is present inside the variable movie name. So in the type into activity part, we need to call that variable because a human or a person will be searching for a particular movie, and that particular movie name is present inside a variable, and that variable need to be called here. So let me check whether the movie name variable is available. So let me check for that variable. I am searching for movie name. So here you can see the movie name variable is coming at the first top part. So I am selecting that part. So now the movie name that entered manually will be called to the search bar. So we will go on to the next step. Here we are clicking on the Joker term. Here the issue is that a person entered a movie name manually. The movie name is stored in a variable. The movie name is called, or the variable is called in the type into activity. And now the robot will be searching for a term Joker. So we need to tell the robot that we are not searching for Joker. Instead, we are looking for a movie name. So for that, we need to change the indicator element. So here I am I am going to edit the term. So edit the click activity element. So inside you can see one Joker here. So we usually call some a term known as wildcards. So in UI path, the robot have some wildcards like we can replace the names. So the wildcard here I am going to use is star. So whatever things UiPath see there, it will be compared with the movie variable. And if the movie name variable is same, then automatically it will click on the suggestion box. So earlier, the click option, the robot will be clicking only on the Joker tab. So what I did now is that I changed the tab. Instead of Joker, any movie, just like the robot will be looking into the movie name variable. And if the movie name variable and the suggestion is same, then the robot will be clicking on the suggestion. So that's what I did here. And here also the same issue is there because robot will be looking for this 8.5. But this 8.5 may not be present anywhere because every movie will be having a different rating. So here also we need to change that 8.5. Here again I am calling the wildcard star wildcard in order to fetch any rating from there. So I have did that. So I have reconfigured my robot in order to search any human input. If you give an input to any name or if you input any movie name, then the robot will automatically search for it and it will be getting a result. So let us now try whether our robot is working or not. I'm not sure whether the robot will work or not because it's an iterative method. So we need to iterate several times to get a good robot. So let me try. If we have luck, it will work in the first time itself. So the robot started running. So the movie tab opened. So here an input dialog box came. So what I will give Shrek. So I inputted the name Shrek and I am just clicking OK. I am not sure whether it will come or not. So I inputted. So now the Shrek suggestion came. Automatically suggestion got opened and it is expected to fetch the movie rating, but it is not supposed to take this much of time. Yeah, the message box returns. So here you can see the movie rating of the movie that I manually inputted is 7.8. So clicking on OK, our robot stops working. So this is basically how I designed a robot for a use case. So I hope that everyone got an idea about this thing. So I will pause for 1 or 2 minutes. If you have any doubt regarding this, you can ask me. So this is the basic scenario where we found a use case. So our use case was to navigate to a browser, search for IMDb, open the IMDb window, inside the IMDb window, there will be a search bar. Inside the search bar, we will be searching for a movie. We will be navigating to the movie page, and from the movie page, we will be fetching the rating. So these 6 steps we did using our robot. So inside the robot, what we did is that we first opened a browser, and in the browser we called some activities like type into and all those things. And once the page occurs, then we will fetch the rating from the movie tab, from the Gmail tab, not Gmail tab, from the movie page that has opened. So this is what we have did. So I will pause for 1 or 2 minutes. If you have any doubts, or if you have any queries regarding this, you can ask me, or else I will proceed to the next step. Shall I proceed? If you get some responses, then I will proceed to my next step.
Sir?
Yeah.
There is a question from.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
From Ajit Sagar. If I am doing this procedure as manually from first, what should I to be recorded on the search bar? Actually, if you do not have an input dialog box, then you can directly use the type into activity. Using the type into activity, you can provide the input. So in the first step, I have mentioned I wrote the term Joker in the type into activity in double quotes. That's what we did. So for simply searching using the robot, you can go for that activity. And if you need a manual input, then you need to call for what we say input dialog box. And the term or the movie name entered in the input dialog box need to be stored inside a variable. And in the type into activity, need to call this variable. ഒന്നുകൂടി സിമ്പിളായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മൾ എഴുതുന്ന ഒരു ഡാറ്റ അതൊരു വേരിയബിളിലേക്ക് ഇട്ടു, ആ വേരിയബിളിനെ നമ്മുടെ ആക്ടിവിറ്റിയിലോട്ട് കോൾ ചെയ്തു, വേറെ ഒന്നും നമ്മൾ ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. So that's all about that part. So shall I move on to the next use case? After creating robot, can we close browser and run robot? Will it automatically open browser? Yes. Here you can see here the you can see my tabs. All these tabs are opened by the robot because I haven't given any command or I haven't clicked anywhere. It automatically got opened. So I'm closing it now. Yeah, you can you can definitely repeat the step by calling a while loop or by setting some if else conditions. You can definitely repeat the loop, definitely repeat the process any number of times you repeat. Sir?
Yeah, എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ഇവർക്ക് ഒന്നും കൂടെ ഫോർ ദി ബെറ്റർ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് just orally we can say this RPA can be used in Amazon website or Flipkart like e-commerce site for searching for a particular component or an item. Sir, അത് വെച്ചിട്ടൊന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ജസ്റ്റ് പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുത്താൽ
ജസ്റ്റ് നമ്മുടെ നെക്സ്റ്റ് യൂസ് കേസ് വരുന്നത് അതാണ്. So shall I proceed to the next use case? If I get a majority of yes, then I will proceed. If I get no, okay, I am getting yes. So okay, so we will move on to our next use case. So our next use case is a little more complicated. So here I am going to a real industrial scenario. So consider a company which outsources many of the services, and one of its service is to provide some component list based on some input queries. Input queries in the sense, if you are having a company, you are receiving some mails, and inside the mail you will be having some queries, just like about some components. For example, I am running a company which gets results from an e-commerce site. Just like I will be searching for different types of mobiles, and I will be fetching the price of all these mobiles from the e-commerce site, and I will be providing it to the person who have requested. So I am receiving a mail asking for a particular mobile type, I will be looking into the e-commerce site. I will be searching for different mobile names there. I will be looking for the prices of all these things. I will be copying all these things to an Excel file, and I will be replying with to that mail with this list of mobiles and mobile prices. That's our use case. I think everyone understood the use case. യൂസ് കേസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇപ്പം നമുക്കൊരു മെയിൽ ഐ ഡി ഉണ്ട്. ഐ ആം റിസീവിങ് സം മെയിൽസ്. എനിക്ക് വരുന്ന മെയിലുകൾ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു കമ്പനിയുടെ പർട്ടിക്കുലർ മൊബൈലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു കമ്പണന്റിനെ കുറിച്ച് ചോദിച്ചിട്ടായിരിക്കും നമുക്ക് വരുന്ന മെയിലുകൾ വരുന്നുണ്ടാവുക. സോ ഐ വിൽ ബി ലുക്കിംഗ് ഇൻ ടു ദിസ് മെയിൽ. സോ വൺസ് ഐ ലുക്ക് ഇൻ ടു ദ മെയിൽ ഐ വിൽ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് ദാറ്റ് എ പേഴ്സൺ ഈസ് ലുക്കിംഗ് ഫോർ ദിസ് പർട്ടിക്കുലർ മൊബൈൽ. അപ്പൊ ഞാനെന്ത് ചെയ്തു, ഒരു ഇ കൊമേഴ്സ് സൈറ്റിൽ പോയി, ഫ്ലിപ്കാർട്ടിൽ പോയി ആ മൊബൈൽ സെർച്ച് ചെയ്തു. So I am getting n number of results. Sometimes the results may go beyond 1,000 or 10,000. So I am fetching all these details and I am replying the user. അതായത് എനിക്ക് ആരാണോ മെയിൽ അയച്ചത് ആൾക്ക് ഞാൻ റിപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യാണ്, this much mobiles are present and these are the price tags and these are the links of that mobiles. അങ്ങനെ വെച്ചിട്ടൊരു എക്സൽ ഫയൽ ഞാൻ തിരിച്ച് റിപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. ഇത് മാനുവലായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ എങ്ങനെയാണ്? The first step is we will be opening the mail. So once we open the mail, we will be looking for the inbox. Inside the inbox, we will be going for unread messages. Inside the unread messages, we will be looking for certain topics where a user is requesting for some commodities or items. Once I find a commodity, I will be navigating to the Flipkart. So inside the Flipkart, what I did is that let my page open. So I think everyone can see my page. If there is any issue with viewing or any issue with my voice, please let me know. So I navigated to Flipkart, and some of the person have asked me about LG mobile phones. So I put LG, and I am searching for LG mobiles. So now I am getting a result where it is showing 96 results spanning over, let me see, spanning over 4 pages. Sometimes some other person will be asking for Redmi. For namesake, I am telling these terms. So Redmi also, you can see it is spanning over 10 pages. So there will be around 311 results here. So if we need to manually collect the details, what we will do? We will simply copy paste these terms into an Excel file or into the mail itself. We will copy all these details and put manually in a Excel file and send it back. So here I am going to automate this thing. So let me navigate to my what we say UiPath Studio. I am going to my home window. Here I am creating a new project known as what we get email. So I am creating the new project. So I created a new project. So here I will start with where we will start. Here, as I mentioned earlier, this is the place we will add our workflow. But here I cannot see that white window that we have seen earlier. So how to get that white window? Navigate to the left side. In the left side panel, you will be having 3 panels: project, activities, and snippets. Inside the project, you will be having a main SAML file. Clicking on the main SAML file, you will be getting the workflow window. So inside this workflow window, we will be doing all our projects. So I will start with the data scrapping part, and after that I move on to the email automation. So how to scrap the data? So what is the first task? You need to open the browser. So I am calling a sequence. So either you can go for a new sequence inside a flowchart. If you are having a flowchart, you can go for a new sequence, or either in the existing workflow you are doing, in the existing main workflow you are doing, you can search for a sequence, and inside the systems option you will find the sequence tab. Drag it out here. So only inside the sequence or inside the flowchart you can provide other activities, or it will be working fine inside a sequence. Else there will be some complications like variable issues, something like that will be there. So it is preferred to start the activities within a sequence or within a flowchart. So in the sequence, the first option is to open a browser. So here I am searching for open browser. As I have already called it several times, it is coming under the recent tab. For you, it will be coming under the systems tab. I am not systems tab, under browser tab. I am dragging it in the workflow. So again, it have asked for the site. So here I am giving Flipkart. Remember, you need to give it in double quotes, else it will throw an error. So here I opened the site Flipkart. So what will be our next activity? We need to search something here, right? So in order to search something, what we need to do? We need to type the term that we are searching. So which activity we will call? We will call type into activity. So we are dragging the type into activity. So once you drag a activity, then the activity will be asking for the point where we need to type. So here you can see indicate element. So inside the indicate element, I am showing the place where I need to search for a particular item. So the point where the search bar is present is stored. So inside the search bar right now, I am telling the robot without any variables. I am telling I need to search about iPhones, IPHONEX, which is given inside double quotes. So here there is, I have not initialized any variables. I am simply telling the robot that I need to search for iPhones. So the type into activity is there. So what will be our next option? We need to, let me search the iPhones in the Flipkart. So what will be our next step? We need to copy paste, or we need to take all the details from these options and store it in an Excel file or a CSV file, comma separated values. I think you will be familiar with that CSV files. So I need to scrap some data from this search. That is all the, I missed one step because here I typed the iPhones and I need to click the search option. Then only it will be navigating to the iPhones page. So I need to tell the robot, click on the search option. So I am giving click. So again asking me where to click. So I am selecting the search option. So now the search option is recorded. So what will be our next step? We need to scrap all the data present in this page. So I will just show how to scrap. So as I mentioned earlier, in the top ribbon bar, you have a lot of options. And inside there is a data scrapping option. So I am using this data scrapping option to scrap the entire data. So clicking on the data scrapping option, you will be asked which data to be scrapped. So that's what is select element means. So I am clicking on the next option and I am telling I need to scrap this Apple iPhone. So the first element is selected. So in order to confirm, so every time the robot needs some confirmation. So in order to confirm, the robot will ask you a similar field. So here Apple iPhone is there. It is somewhat similar field. You can see below there is a similar field. So I am selecting the similar field. Now the robot is confirmed about the data. So what we will give the name? I will give mobile name as the first column name, and in the second column I will be having the extracted links, because all these terms will be having a link which will help you to redirect it to a new page. So I am giving the column name as links. So clicking enter, next step, now you can see a column of data. The entire data is being fetched. So here you can see the maximum number of results is 100. So I am taking only 100 because if I put 0, the entire data will get scrapped. as I am running multiple meetings on my laptop, it may cause some issues. I am limiting to the number as 100. So I am so what? So we need to have one more data here. Here the iPhone name is the link is the. We need one more data. Which was that data? We need to extract the price also. So in order to extract the price, I am extracting the correlated data. So using the extract correlated data option, I am selecting the price. Again, robot will be asking us to have a similar field. Clicking on the similar field, the robot understands that I have confirmed all the data fields, and clicking on the next option, you will be getting the price also. So this is how basically we do a data scrapping, and all these things are being recorded because I recorded the first column, that is the iPhone name. I recorded the link name. I recorded the price, and I click on the finish option. So now the robot is asking me whether there is multiple pages. So in our case, in the first page, you can see only 24 data is there. So surely for 100 data, there will be multiple pages. So we need to tell the robot that the data is spanned over multiple pages. So we will be clicking the yes option. So, but we cannot see any next option here. So how we will navigate to the next option? We need to go below the page. So how we will go below the page? We cannot scroll or we cannot do anything as long as the recorder is active. You can see the recorder is being recording all the things that I am clicking. So here, in order to navigate to the below page, remember the thing that I have did in the IMDb case. You need to press the F2 key. Based on the layout of the keyboard, the keys may change. So in my case, it's a F2. In some keyboards, you need to press function F2, then only it will be working. So I am temporarily pausing the recording. So on the bottom right corner, you can see a timer running. So I am pausing my screen, pausing my recording. You can see a timer running. I am navigating to the bottom. Still more to go. So in the bottom page, you can see the next option. So I am selecting the next option as the page navigation option. I am clicking on the next. So it is recorded. So the entire data scrapping part is now over. So the entire data is present somewhere. So by default, our robot will store the extracted data inside a variable known as extract data table. It's a system variable. We don't need to create a new table, new variable. It's by default. UiPath robot will store the entire scrap data inside a variable known as extract data table. So what we do now, we need to copy all these things to a Excel file. So in order to copy that Excel, all the data, we'll be calling a write into activity. So here the write into activity is known as write range. So simply putting the write, I will be having different options. So in order to, it is more convenient to use the Excel scope here. But in my case, I have some issue with the package installation because mine is an older version, so the packages are not being supported. Uh, 1 minute. So in my case, the package is not being supported. The supported packages, there is some issue with my installation for the packages. So here I am going to the, even if your system is not having the Excel application, you can create an Excel file. So that's what I am taking here. So when I check for write activity, you can see a lot of activities coming up here. So here you can see an Excel option. So if you have Excel installed in your system, you can go for write range inside an Excel file. But in my case, I have issues with the installation of Excel and also installation with the package managers. So I am going for a system creation file. So here under the file workbook, I have a write range option. I am dragging it here. So inside the file, you will be asked for some locations. So here I am creating a location. So it by default, inside your documents, you will be having a location created by UiPath. So here I am creating a Excel file because we need to mention the name of the Excel file here. So I am just simply giving iPhone. I will give it as list and I am selecting it. So here you can see the path is now set. And in which page I need to write. Most of you will be familiar with the Excel files. So there will be n number of sheets there. By default, everything will be started in the sheet 1. And I am asking where to write. So here there is an A1 range. A1 means the first column. So here I am not giving any range. Anywhere in Excel you can write. And I am asking from where we need to write the data to the Excel file. This is a variable. So here I will be calling the variable in which I have stored all the data. So this is the basic process where we'll be doing the data scraping mechanism. So what we did here, I will consolidate. I open the Flipkart window. Inside the Flipkart window, I searched for iPhone. Clicking on the search tab, I will be getting n number of iPhone details. And in the n number of iPhone details, I am scrapping the data of 100 top iPhones. And this data is stored in an Excel file. And I will be displaying that Excel file. So now let us check whether the robot is working or not. So we have completed configuring our robot. Now we are going to run our robot. So now you can see I am closing all the my Mozilla windows here. Close tabs. And inside the inside browser, open browser, I am selecting Firefox. So now let us try running. So I'm going to run my robot. I clicked to run the robot. The robot started running. Now the robot is expected to open the Mozilla Firefox window automatically. It's taking some time. Usually it won't take this much of time. Whenever we have a real-time presentation, there will be some errors throwing up due to the high processing requirement. Let us see whether it's working or not. Hello?
Yes, sir. Hello? Good evening, sir. Hello? Good evening, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Seven.
കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലേ?
കേൾക്കാം.
സിസ്റ്റം റൈറ്റ് ഹാങ് ആവുന്നുണ്ട് കാരണം മൾട്ടിപ്പിൾ വിൻഡോസ് ഓപ്പൺ ആയി കിടക്കുന്ന കാരണേ. ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്നുകൂടി ഒന്ന് റൺ ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം. Let us run it again. I was having some issues with my UiPath also. So let me just close it and open it again. It usually happens whenever we have multiple processes running on. So here I am having multiple processes running. UiPath is there, Microsoft Teams is there, WebEx is there, online streaming is there. That's the main reason. So usually I prefer to go with the recorded screens because UiPath requires some minimum of 60% of what we say processor allotment. So we will try once again. So it may take 1 or 2 minutes based on your processor speed to open up the configuration window or workflow window. So I am selecting our project again. So right now I cannot see any errors here. Let me run it again. Let us see whether it will run or not. Yeah, it started running. It opened a new Mozilla Firefox window, and I am expecting the robot to navigate to Flipkart. Again, I think there is some issue. Sorry for the inconvenience. It usually happens because of the heavy workload. Now I have changed the Internet Explorer. Changed to Internet Explorer. Let us see what happens. So it automatically one more time I need to stop because there is a sign in window appearing in between. I need to do something to close that sign-in window. So I will add one more activity, look into activity. Close the sign-in window because it's causing some interference. No, the sign-in window is not coming. I think now it's working fine. So it's spanning automatically to multiple pages, 73, 97, 121. So I think it's continuously spanning to all the pages. And the process is expected to stop in around 33 seconds or less than 3 seconds. But here again, we are having some issues with writing to the Excel file. Let us see what's the issues. No issues is seen. Now the robot stopped working. And in the error list, I can see no errors. And in the output tab, it is saying that the robot ran successfully and completed its working. So if the robot was successful, we are expecting to get 100 iPhone details. So we can navigate to the list. So else I will go to the documents part. So this is the file that we have created. So let me open that. So if our robot was successful, we can find details of iPhones. If the robot was not successful, then we will not find any details. So here you can see the Apple iPhone details is there. The links to the Apple iPhone is there. And the price of the Apple iPhone is there. So we were looking for 100 results. So only 83 results came. It may be due to some of the unavailable components there. That's the reason why the robot stayed there for some more time, because it was searching for any available Apple iPhones. It checked for 30 seconds. No new iPhones were found. That's why it completed the data scrapping option. So I think the scenario is clear. I think how you understood how we fetched all these details. Do you need any clarification on how I fetched the data from the Flipkart? If you have any doubts or anything else, you can ask me, or else I will go to the next step of email automation. Shall I move? Hello. Shall I move to the email automation? Okay. 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 So anyway, I'm not going to. I will just take the one that I have created. So the data scrapping is the main part of our email automation also. But here the difference is that we'll be searching for a email. So what's the first step? So we need to go to our email details. So here I am using a get password activity. So here you can see in the get password activity, I am storing my password. So here in the miscellaneous session on the right side, there is a password option. Here I have typed my password and it is shown as stars because the get password activity is used to conceal your password. And I am storing this password in a variable known as pwd, that is short form for password. So for mail, in order to fetch your mail, there are a lot of mail activities. So I am searching here for mail. So here you can see a lot of mail activities like mail exchange is there, Outlook exchange is there, IBM Notes is there, IMAP is there, Outlook is there, POP3 is there, SMTP is there. A lot of mail protocols are there. And here we are considering the Gmail option. And inside of the Gmail, as far as Gmail is considered, we will be using IMAP protocol. So here I have dragged in the IMAP option. So inside the IMAP option, I need to tell the mail folder, which folder I need to look in for new mails, which is a port over which we are communicating, and also the server address of Gmail. So on the right side, that is on the properties part, we can see they are asking for the mail folder. Here I am looking into the inbox folder. I will be communicating over the port 993 and imap.gmail.com is my server address. And the next step is to once get connected, the next step is to log into my Gmail. So here I have stored my Gmail inside a variable known as email and password inside a variable known as pwd. Let me see what are the variables defined here. So you can see the variables here. The password is there, it's a string. The email is there, it also is a string, and I have given the email address. The email address is force@cimat.ac.in, force for free and open source softwares at CIMAT, Srivadi Institute of Management and Technology, cimat.ac.in. That's a variable that I have defined. So email is the variable. So by putting the variable, one of the easiest way is to define variables, because whenever we need some term which is occurring repetitive, we need to call only the variable. We don't need to type it again and again. We need to call only the variable. So here I am calling the variable email. The variable email have my mail ID. And next, some options is there. Once you fetch the mail, then mark it as read. Which are the how many mails I need to read. I am telling it as a top 30 mails need to read. And once I read all the mails, the entire mail details will be stored inside a data table. So by default, there is no variables will be created for this data table. So this data table need to be created by us. So I am telling a variable, or I am creating a variable to store all the mail details, and the name of the variable is mail message. So I have already created it. You can see in the output section, you can see one variable name mail message. So this is what I have did. I fetched a get password to conceal my password. In order to access my Gmail, I have taken an activity known as get IMAP mail messages. So what we need to do next, we need to read the subject line in the mails. We need to search for that subject in Flipkart, and we need to fetch the entire data. Here you can see the same operations. that I have did earlier. I am navigating to Flipkart. I am searching something in Flipkart, but the search is based on the email subject line. And based on the email subject line, I will be searching the details. I will be saving the details inside a search.xlx file, and I am sending back that file to the one who have requested to search a particular item. So this is the thing that I have did. So for this robot to work, I require some mail in my inbox. So right now my inbox is empty. So you can try sending a mail to my mail ID. I am writing my mail ID in the chat window. Rosetta simat.ac.in. So you can go to, so you can send a mail to this force@simat.ac.in. Remember, you need to enter the component name in the subject line. Then only my bot will work. The board is configured like that. So you write some Lenovo, iPhone, Nokia, or something, some components that you wish in the subject line. So if you send some mails, then you will be able to know whether I can show you the bot running. So if someone respond that you have sent the mail, then I will start running my bot. So if you respond in my chat window, then I will be able to run my bot. Can anyone confirm? And also remember, the Microsoft will be allotting the certificate only by the, I will be telling how to get the certificate only by the end of this session. So if you, once you leave, you may not be able to. So do you confirm?
Hello. 7.
നിങ്ങൾ ആരെങ്കിലും മെയിൽ അയച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഞാൻ ബോട്ട് റൺ ചെയ്യാം.
Hello. ശരി ശരി.
So if someone of you confirm that you have sent a mail to force@simat.ac.in, then I will run the bot. So you will be getting a reply with the list of search query that you have mentioned. So shall I run? So I am not having so much of time. So I will run it now. So already Professor Anu has responded. Say if someone else has sent a mail, then I will run my bot. So let me run my bot. So I am clicking run option here. So the bot started running. So automatically it goes to someone has searched for Redmi. So here for simplicity, I have reduced the number of search items to 20 because else it will be a hectic load for my processor. So here the search items is reduced to 20. So I think more and more mails are coming. So let us check whether. So someone else have asked for Redmi. So we will wait for 2 or 3 minutes, and after that I will stop the robot. So it is working in real time. It is checking my mail force@simat.ac.in. So it's checking for the messages. So once I receive a message, it will automatically fetch the subject line. It will search for that subject inside the Flipkart window, and after that it will be scrapping all the data, and it will be sending the mails to the one who have asked for the component query. So എനിക്ക് മെയിൽ അയച്ചിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാവർക്കും തിരിച്ചൊരു മെയിൽ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരിക്കും. All those who have sent a mail to me would have received a mail by now. നിങ്ങളൊന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കുക. In your mail address you will be having a mail. ചെക്ക് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കുക. സോ ഇവിടെ ലാസ്റ്റ് പോയ മെയിലിലുള്ള ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാനൊന്ന് എടുത്ത് കാണിക്കാം. So this is the last mail sent. So based on the query, you will be receiving the messages. ചിലപ്പോൾ ചിലർക്ക് സാംസങ് തന്നെയായിരിക്കും വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടാവുക. എന്തായാലും that will be the list. സെലക്ഷനിൽ ചെറിയ ഇഷ്യൂസ് ഉള്ള കാരണം ചിലപ്പോൾ വ്യത്യാസങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാവാം. So we will be moving on to the last part of our workshop today. So ഞങ്ങളൊരു യൂസ് കേസ് കൂടി കാണിക്കാം. അതിന് മുമ്പായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു മൈക്രോസോഫ്റ്റ് നമ്മളതൊരു ഒഫീഷ്യൽ വെബിനാറായിട്ട് അവർ ആക്സെപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. സോ ഐ വിൽ ടെൽ ഹൗ ടു ജനറേറ്റ് ദ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ്സ്. അപ്പോൾ എന്തായാലും ആസ് എ ടോക്കൺ ഓഫ് ലവ് ഐ ആം പ്രൊവൈഡിങ് ദിസ് സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ഓൺ ബിഹാഫ് ഓഫ് Mahaguru Institute of Technology and Srividhi Institute of Technology. So നിങ്ങളൊരു I will give a link. It's a Microsoft Educator link. I am pasting it inside your chat window. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മൈക്രോസോഫ്റ്റിൽ അക്കൗണ്ട് ഉള്ളവർക്ക് using this link you can sign into Microsoft. So you will be getting a window like this. I hope that everyone can see my window. എൻ്റെ വിൻഡോ കാണാമെന്ന് ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. മൈക്രോസോഫ്റ്റ് വിൻഡോ കാണാൻ പറ്റുമെന്ന് ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. On the top right side you will be having an option to sign in. So in that option there will be an option on as redeem achievement code. So here once I click on that code you will be asked for a redeem code. So I will give my trainer code, copy pasting my trainer code, a certificate will be generated for you. So I am sending the trainer code. So copy paste the trainer code to the redeem code and you will be getting a certificate. നമ്മുടെ ഇന്നത്തെ പ്രോഗ്രാം മൈക്രോസോഫ്റ്റ് ഒഫീഷ്യലി അവർ പാർട്ട്ണർ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു ഇവന്റ് ആണ്. സോ മൈക്രോസോഫ്റ്റ് വിൽ ബി ജനറേറ്റിംഗ് സം സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ്സ് ഫോർ യു. അപ്പോൾ എനിക്കിപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ എത്ര പേരെയാണ് കാണാനുള്ളത്? 64 പേരുണ്ട്. ഏകദേശം ഒരു 99 പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസിൻ്റെ അടുത്തുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. സോ ഫോർ ഓൾ ദീസ് ഫസ്റ്റ് 100 പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ് ആയിട്ടാണ് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ റിക്വസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ 100 പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസിനും ഈ ഒരു സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് എലിജിബിൾ ആണ്. So in order to get that certificate, you need to navigate to the Microsoft Education window. A Microsoft Education window link ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളുടെ ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ ഇട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. Once again I will paste the link. ആ ലിങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങളൊന്ന് ലോഗിൻ ചെയ്യണം. മൈക്രോസോഫ്റ്റ് അക്കൗണ്ട് ഉള്ളവർക്ക് അത് വെച്ച് ലോഗിൻ ചെയ്യാം. Else you need to create a new account. Once you create the new account, on the top right side you can see an option. Inside that you will be having an option on as redeem achievement code. ആ redeem achievement code ക്ലിക്ക് ചെയ്യുക. ഞാനൊരു കോഡ് നിങ്ങളുടെ ചാറ്റ് വിൻഡോയിൽ പേസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആ കോഡ് നിങ്ങൾ പേസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ redeem ആ കോഡ് നിങ്ങൾ പേസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് redeem കൊടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ your certificate will be generated by മൈക്രോസോഫ്റ്റ്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അപ്പം തന്നെ ജനറേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കിട്ടും. ഇനി ആ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ മൈ പ്രൊഫൈലിൽ പോവുക. ഇൻസൈഡ് മൈ പ്രൊഫൈൽ യു വിൽ ബി ഹാവിങ് എ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ലൈക്ക് ദിസ്. ഈ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് കൊടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു വിൽ ബി ഹാവിങ് എ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് കംപ്ലീഷൻ ഫ്രം മൈക്രോസോഫ്റ്റ് എഡ്യൂക്കേറ്റർ സെന്റർ. അപ്പോൾ താല്പര്യമുള്ളവരുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ജനറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ അത് കൊടുക്കുക. ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും ഇഷ്യൂസ് ഫേസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പം എൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് പറയാം. So we will move on to the last topic, that we will show a basic data scrapping mechanism designed by Sugair sir. So he will just present his screen. He will only run his bot. The rest, if you have any doubts regarding this, you can send a mail to Professor Anu. So he will be communicating with me. So whatever issue you face, whatever doubts you have, you can ask him. So Sudhir sir, can you present that board? സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റിന്റെ അതിൽ എല്ലാവർക്കും ഇഷ്യൂ ഉണ്ടോ സാർ? ഒരു മിനിറ്റ്. സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റിൽ ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും ഇഷ്യൂ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പൊ ചോദിക്കുക. കാരണം നമുക്കൊരു 11:47 12:30 കൂടി നിങ്ങളുടെ ലിങ്ക് ഡീആക്ടിവേറ്റ് ആവും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ കോഴ്സ് കോഡ് ഡീആക്ടിവേറ്റ് ആവും. സോ ആഫ്റ്റർ ദാറ്റ് യു മേ നോട്ട് ബി ഏബിൾ ടു ഗെറ്റ് ദ സർട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻ. So only for first 100 students will be able to get that certification. So out to Sudhir sir.
Thank you, Sevin. Sevin sir, and the screen visible അല്ലേ?
Visible ആണ്.
Correct. So if time permits, I will just go through our use case, and then I will run my board. So hope all of you can hear me. See, now it's നമ്മളിവിടെ ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത് എന്താ വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, നമ്മളെ കേരള സ്റ്റേറ്റ് ഇലക്ഷൻ കമ്മീഷന്റെ വെബ്സൈറ്റിൽ നിന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഡാറ്റ സ്ക്രാപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോവാണ്. ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഡിസ്ട്രിക്ട് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തു, ഇവിടെ ഉള്ളത് കാസർഗോഡ് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തു, ആൻഡ് ദെൻ നമ്മളെ ലോക്കൽ ബോഡി ഏതാണ്, പഞ്ചായത്താണോ ഏതാണെന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മൾ സെലക്ട് ചെയ്യണം. ആൻഡ് ദെൻ
സാറിന്റെ ഹലോ സാറിന്റെ ഏതൊരു കീ പ്രസ് ആയിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, ചിലപ്പോൾ അത് ബോർഡർ അൺനിയുമ്പോൾ ഇഷ്യൂ വരും. ഏതൊരു കീ
നോക്കാം. ശരി, നമുക്ക് വാർഡ് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തു. അതിനുശേഷം which is the polling station that we need to select, and then the language, in which language we need to get the output data, and then after that we need to enter this captcha, right? This captcha we need to enter VZUNC. Hopefully then a new window will be coming, the list of voters list. So let us assume we need to get all the data of all the districts, right? ഇനി നമുക്ക് നെക്സ്റ്റ് കണ്ണൂർ ഡിസ്ട്രിക്ട് വേണമെങ്കിലൊക്കെ വേണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇറ്റ്സ് എ സീരിയസ് ടാസ്ക് ടു ഗെറ്റ് ഓൾ ദി ഡാറ്റ, ഓൾ ദി വോട്ടേഴ്സ് ലിസ്റ്റ് ഫ്രം ദിസ് വെബ്സൈറ്റ്. സോ വാട്ട് ഐ ഹാവ് ഡൺ ഹിയർ ഈസ് I have created a bot which will be automatically selecting the district one by one, and then corresponding ward and the local body, panchayat, municipality, corporation, whatever it is, and then this bot will be scrapping all the voters list, and it will be saved in one of the location. That location is, I have created a Excel sheet, extract list. So you can see the Excel sheet here, nothing is here. So let us try to run the board. So before starting this board, I will just explain what I have done. So here, this is the board which will click the, which will automatically navigate to the lsgelection.kerala.gov.in site, and then it will be selecting each and every panchayat, district, ward, polling station, etc. Right? And then it will upload the captcha. Automatically it will type the captcha, whatever be present on that website, and then it will go to the next window from where we can extract the table of voters list. Right? So let me try this both. I am starting running. We will see what will happen. So now you can see the window will be opened automatically. Hello.
Hello.
പറഞ്ഞോളൂ.
Sabin. കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ? കോൺവെർസേഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞോ?
സുഖേഷ് സാറിന് റൺ ചെയ്തോണ്ടിരിക്കും.
ഓക്കെ.
സുഖേഷ് സാറ് എന്റെ സ്ക്രീനാണോ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്?
അതെ, കാണുന്നില്ലേ?
എനിക്കാണത് വളരെ സ്പീഡിൽ തീർന്നു പോകുന്നത്.
ഇപ്പൊ എന്റെ വിൻഡോ കാണുന്നുണ്ടോ?
കാണുന്നുണ്ട്.
So the execution has started.
നാവിഗേറ്റ് ആയോ പേജ്? ഹലോ,
It's getting hanged. I don't. Some error has occurred.
ഈ മൾട്ടിപ്പിൾ ഇത് വരുന്നത് കൊണ്ടുള്ള ഒരു എററാണത്.
Okay.
Now we do that.
Yeah, now it's navigating to the page. LSGT, now you can see automatically selecting Kasaragod and then some local body and then what, and then the language, English, and then now automatically the CAPTCHA will be typed in this window. Hope all of you can see. There is a കാണുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ അല്ലേ?
കാണുന്നുണ്ട്.
Yeah, now the voters list is being selected. Once it is completed, now we will check the Excel sheet. The bot has completed its process, and now we will check the produced Excel sheet. These are the So these are the voters list of that particular constituency of Kasaragod district. So let us check there. See here is Fatima Suhara, Junaid A.K. Fatima. Let me check whether it's right or wrong. Yeah, Fatima Suhara, Junaid A.K. Fatima. So what I was trying to show you that this is just a use case. So like this, so using this RPA, we can scrap any amount of data within seconds without any human without any human effort. This process can be completed. We can complete for all these 14 districts of Kerala within seconds. So hope all of you understood the scope of RPA and how we can use this RPA. Hopefully, all of you will be trying this RPA. I think so. So with this, I would like to stop my session, and I am handing over this to Anand sir. Thank you, sir, for providing such a wonderful experience for us to give a session to the young and enthusiastic engineers like you people. Thank you, sir.
കുറച്ച് പേര് സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ജനറേഷനിൽ ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അത് ഞാൻ ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്നുകൂടി ഒന്ന് പറയാം. അനൂപ് സാർ ഒന്ന് മൈക്കൊന്ന് മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യും.
എന്തോ
കുറച്ച് പേര് സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് കൂടി ഉണ്ടെന്ന് ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. Once again, I will explain it once more. So I hope that my window is visible to all. So I request you to navigate to Microsoft.com education. So I have already provided you the link, or else you can simply search for Microsoft.education or education.microsoft.com. So inside the website. On the top right side, or you will be having a login option. So if you have Microsoft ID, use that ID to login, or else create one Microsoft login ID. So once you create the login ID, on the top right side, you will be having a profile section. Inside the profile section, you can have an option known as redeem achievement code. Click on the redeem achievement code. I have already given the achievement code in the window. Type it here or copy paste it here and click redeem. So you will be getting a certificate. So in order to access the certificate or to download the certificate, navigate to your my profile session. Navigate to my profile session. So inside my profile session, you will be having a badge known as MIE trainer or activity, or Microsoft Innovation Educator, something like that. There will be a new badge. Click on the view certificate window. So once you click on the new certificate window, you will be getting a interface like this. So inside that, you will be having a download option. So click on the download option or click on the print option. Like that, you can download. So I think the doubt is now clear. So if there is any other doubt, we will wind up the presentation. So thank you all. Especially I am extending my gratitude towards Professor Anu, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Mahaguru Institute of Technology, for inviting me to this event. And I would like to thank the entire team who have hosted this webinar, and also the principal and management team of Mahaguru Institute of Technology for giving us an opportunity to have a presentation here. So thank you all once again. And overall, students who have listened for me for around 2 hours.
Mahaguru Institute of Technology. Good results, university ranks and excellent placements every year. Mahaguru Institute of Technology, Kayamkulam.